I have a kind of queasy feeling about today. And the reason I do is because we have the 10-year under 4. And that means that people are reacting to these company like a Wayfair, they're not doing that well. Company like McDonald's not doing that well. The overall sense that the discretionary category is doing very, very poorly. And I think that's what's controlling the 10-year. And I don't want to see that. I think it needs to, because the Fed didn't cut yesterday.
No, they did not. They did signal cuts in September. Sounds like it is on the table. They're watching inflation data and the job data, and we'll get a jobs number tomorrow as well. But yeah, it's a give back to. We had a very big move yesterday, especially in the semiconductors. NVIDIA, Broadcom, both were up a double-digit percentage. So a big move there. And obviously, Meta is the star of what's happening today. Without Meta, it'd be a much different market.
Yes,
today.
It would be. Now, Meta, one of the things that's very exciting about it, it's the first time I have read about what's going to happen in the future. 25 is a roadmap, 25 and 26 kind of took off the table the idea of, well, what are we doing this? And the idea is that right now, if you're an advertiser, you can go to them and they'll tell you where your ad should be. You'll argue, and then they'll say, okay, I don't know. Now, but right at this very moment, the advertisers are recognizing that Mark has a better view of where the ad should be than you. So you just say, listen, here's my copy. I want this inserted, blah, blah, blah. Now, he says next year, you'll just say, look, I want an ad.
Yeah.
And it'll be better done by them than you.
Yeah, he's talking about advertisers just giving them their budget and they'll put it to work. You know, it's interesting. Last time they reported, the market was really concerned about their spending on AI. Right. But this time they really explained how AI is driving better engagement, recommendations. It's improving the monetization efficiency.
Yes, so now AI.
So now people are taking their CapEx spending and saying, no, they're generating a strong return on this. It's worth it. And that's that's a big reason why you had such a big revenue number. Guidance was strong, earnings were great, and the stock's up almost 9% as a result.
Yeah, and I think that you're coming with a holistic platform. You're staying on WhatsApp. You're staying on Instagram. You're
young adults
on Threads.
They called out young adults in the U.S. are using Facebook.
People have not been able to reach that cohort. He has. By the way, the Ray-Bans, I know we joke, but my daughter wears the Ray-Bans. They can take pictures everywhere. You can ask the Ray-Bans thing. Really rather remarkable. So anyway, in praise of Mark Zuckerberg. Now, the rest of the market, what you're going to see is something that akin to what I think that Renee Haas said from ARM. There's some weakness. There's some industrial weakness I have comments on tonight, but there's just pockets of weakness. If there weren't pockets of weakness, then the Fed wouldn't be thinking about cutting.
Yeah, well, no real pockets of weakness from Eaton today. Although the stock is down, it's trading with this whole AI data center cohort, which is a little bit soft today.
I would buy it.
But it was a big beat and raise.
I would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, we've bought some around here. It's down 3%.
Well, the stock was up, just had this huge move right ahead.
6% yesterday.
If you don't own any Eaton, you want to do that because Rusty Brazil from RBN, I use for oil. He gave you the data center numbers. And also, the only gating factor of data center numbers is we got to find where there's enough power.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not because they don't want them.
Yep.
It's really extraordinary.
Yep.
So I'm totally all in Eaton. Now, let's talk Lilly because I think the story is being misrepresented. This particular new use is for congestive heart failure, for the possibility of holding off an event for heart. What we've been waiting for as Lilly shareholders is some sign that the government and the payers have to pay for Lilly.
Yeah. And
this is the first time I have seen something that they're just going to say, you know what, we can't have people have heart attacks, put them on tirzepatide.
Yeah, so there was a successful phase 3 heart failure study. The risk of death, hospitalization, other bad outcomes was reduced by 38% versus placebo. So that's very meaningful.
Very statistical.
And you know, we've talked about before the idea of the insurers not covering it. It hasn't mattered yet because demand is still exceeding supply.
Right.
But you know, that always won't be the case. But the company's working hard to ramp up supply. They report next week. Meanwhile, I also saw a report that said their Alzheimer's drug can get approval, may get approval in Japan soon. So that's something
aging
to
population
watch.
there. Yeah. And don't forget, Biogen had good numbers for Alzheimer's. Now, this stock came down. It's very interesting. This stock, which was almost going to be $1 trillion, it came down right with NVIDIA.
Yeah.
They're trading together. It's trading more with NVIDIA than it's trading with the drug cohort.
Yeah, no, that is funny. I mean, when the stocks were, roaring, it was always AI and GLP. But yeah, we've seen it fall in the rotation. And there's been some competitive threats, which I think you have to acknowledge, but not really a near-term concern. Viking Therapeutic, Roche.
Remember, there were competitive threats to Warner Lambert, Pfizer when it came to cholesterol drugs. And everybody ended up making a huge amount of money. I suspect that Amgen will come in. Roche will come in. Viking will come in. But the thing that we didn't count on is that it's hard to make. It's hard to make. Yep. You need, just like a foundry for a semiconductor. People are misinterpreting that too.
And that's almost the key when Lilly reports next week is, are they able, their ability to raise their revenue guidance is really based on their visibility into manufacturing.
Yes.
And so we'll have to see when they report.
And they outsource that. They're building big factories in North Carolina, building factories in Europe. They need them everywhere.
Yeah.
They have to build them everywhere.
Germany is also
That's
a
the
big
gating
area.
factor. By the way, their balance sheet is so great. And Viking doesn't have the money to put up the factories. I mean, come on, they don't. Now, this is a gigantic night.
Yes.
And I would not be working tomorrow. Apologize to you, Lisa, my wife, if we did not have Apple and Amazon, which are huge. And then for us, we have Nextracker and Coterra. Along with that, Apple I am very concerned about, because Apple is a discretionary product and we have to worry about China. Because so far, everything that we've seen in discretionary goods in China, they're just not buying things. So I'm concerned there.
Yeah, the China economy, we've just seen it through so many different reports this earnings season, just so weak. I guess there's this idea, though, that maybe people will be able to look past it because of the AI launch.
Yes, the Worldwide Developers Conference was basically saying, don't pay any attention in the next 6 months. Understand that they're going to have something. They've revamped Siri. Siri's very good. But they will have a GPT product that someone is going to give them as opposed to spend all this money. That's a big leap.
Right, just like search. And then Amazon, AWS revs,
I really like Amazon.
Lowering the cost to serve.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wayfair came all the way back. I was concerned that the stench of a Wayfair, which is to knock off cheap furniture, would extend to the retail